Joining me now is Andrew Weissmann, former Mueller prosecutor and FBI general counsel. Andrew, it's good to see you. I mean, let's start with that question, right? How important is this new count? Because there were several, 31 to be exact, willful retention of NDI counts in the original indictment. And each one, as a standalone count, carries its own penalties. So why do you think now?
So first, the question of why is it important? I was always sort of curious about why it was described in the indictment but not charged. One theory was that the conduct at issue was taking place in Bedminster, New Jersey, and thus there was an issue that was potential, at least, that the venue would not be in Florida if they wanted to bring that charge. If to the extent that that was an issue, this indictment clears that up because they say that that indictment, although it was in Bedminster for some time, was also in Florida. In other words, the illegal retention was in Florida. That may be something new that they discovered and were able to pin down after bringing the initial indictment, so they then had the ability to add it to the Florida case. But why is it so important? Like, before we get to sort of why they did it now, it is so important because that tape recording is now going to substantiate an actual charge. It's not just background evidence or other crimes evidence. That tape recording is something that the jury can hear and be told that tape is with respect to this charge. And you then have, as you know, Katie, you have something that everyone wants. It's, if you're a prosecutor, you have the defendant on tape talking about the crime. Can't get any better than that. So that's why I think it's a really important addition to Jack Smith's arsenal.
So, Andrew, let's drill down a little bit more, because I think it's important for people to understand there was language in that original indictment talking about documents being put in boxes, being put on a plane and flown to Bedminster. So we're talking about the ability to maybe bring a case here in Florida, keeping it all kind of nicely into a box in terms of the prosecution versus trying to maybe have to do it somewhere else, like in Bedminster.
Yeah, so the Constitution requires that a prosecutor bring a case where the crime occurred. Now, sometimes a crime occurs in multiple locations. But here, one of the things that people speculate about, including myself, was that they may not have brought it because what they saw happening was happening in New Jersey and Bedminster, and they didn't have sufficient proof to tie it to Florida. So that wasn't included there. There also was some speculation that they didn't actually have the document. In other words, they weren't able to find exactly what the document was. Well, I don't think that really is it. I think the prior indictment did reference an actual document, but this indictment makes it absolutely clear, and they've traced it sort of from Florida to Bedminster and back to Florida. And then this document actually makes its way to the National Archives. It is notable, this is the one document that's charged out of all 32 that actually was eventually returned to the government by Donald Trump. The others all had to be seized by the FBI in that search.
So then, Andrew, the fact that there was a, quote, voluntary return, which, again, I don't think the voluntary really is proven up by Trump in any way, but the fact that it was returned
Agreed.
by Donald Trump, does that undercut in any way Jack Smith's prosecution on this particular count, seeing how it was returned and not recovered either by the federal government, courtesy of Evan Corcoran going through the boxes in June of 2022, or through the execution of that search warrant in a couple of months later at Mar-a-Lago?
So it certainly complicates the story. In other words, you have an additional thing that you have to prove. But if you're asking me, is it worth it? Yes, because to your point, it was hardly voluntary that it was being returned. This was something that was returned only after months and months and months of the National Archives trying to get it back. And just remember, the crime here is the illegal possession of the document and not returning it after being asked. That happened over and over and over again for over a year. So this isn't going to be much of a challenge for Jack Smith. It's just, it is a different story with respect to this document than the other 31.
And Andrew, I got maybe about 30 seconds left, so we got to be quick. But I wanted to ask you, proving this up, if you're Jack Smith, just the sheer existence of the document combined with the tape in and of itself, assuming it's authenticated and entered into evidence because it includes an admission by Donald Trump as a defendant in this case. Do you need more than that? Do you need the actual people in the room to cooperate, to be able to testify on behalf of the government, to be able to prove this connection between Count 32 and this secret military plan?
Yeah, so you do need somebody, and there are at least, I think, 4 people to be able to say, that is the document that he showed me. In other words, the document that is at issue, I recognize that. That is what he described. So you do need one of those people to do that. But, you also, for instance, it's not going to be that hard to corroborate them because you have Donald Trump on tape, as you just played, describing the document. So the jury's going to be able to say, yep, that looks exactly like the document. And we know that that's something that Donald Trump returned to the archive, so we know he possessed it. So, this is like 1 and 1 and 1. You've got 3.